Okay, I think we can start today's meditation session. So just a few brief instructions before we start off. And one of the things that sometimes go wrong in meditation practice is that we have too much of an idea of what meditation is supposed to be about. We think that meditation is watching the breath, or meditation is doing metta, or meditation is watching the feelings in the body, or perhaps doing a mantra or visualization or whatever. We have this idea of meditation is, and once you have an idea in your mind, then what you do is you sit down and you do that thing automatically. And then when you do that thing without really thinking about what you're doing, without really reflecting and knowing yourself and knowing your mind and all these things, then often it just doesn't work because you're not really contemplating or reflecting or watching the situation or understanding the big picture of what meditation is about. So if you do that and you sort of grasp onto the breath and you think, I'm going to hold onto the breath and watch the breath, and often it becomes uncomfortable, perhaps because the mind isn't ready for watching the breath. And you know what it's like, the mind sort of goes up and down a lot. Some days it is in a certain state, another day it is in a very different state, and it depends completely on what sort of day you're having, how the meditation is working or not working. So it's not just a matter of just using a method, it's about using a method in a skillful way. And that skillful way is always to actually remember the big picture of what meditation is about. And the big picture of meditation, at least the meditation we normally teach here, which is like a very important foundation stone meditation practice, that you're trying to find a sense of peace, right? It's all about peace. And if what you're doing gives rise to peace, or it gradually goes in the direction of more and more peace, then you are doing the right thing. And then it doesn't matter what the actual technique is, whether it is metta, whether it is watching the breath, or whatever you're doing. These things are irrelevant as long as you're moving towards peace. That is all that really matters. So make sure in your meditation practice that you monitor yourself and that you actually know that you're going in the direction of peace. If you are, then you are on the right track. So to be able to do that, to be able to move towards peace, it is always important just to start off with doing absolutely nothing. You just sit down and you start, the first thing to do is just to relax, right? Just to find a sense of ease. You know, when you rush around, a little bit of tension always tends to build up in the body. So just get rid of all that tension first of all. Get rid of all the pain, get rid of all the discomfort, all the muscular aches, whatever it is you have in the body. All that should go first of all, so you can really relax. Sit back and feel at ease with the body. That is the first thing. And of course, what you do when you're relaxing the body is actually what you're doing is you're relaxing the mind. Because the reason why the body is tense or the muscles are tense is because the mind is trying to control you, right? If you have tension somewhere, it's actually the mind that is controlling. The mind is too active and is causing the discomfort in the body. So you're actually relaxing the mind. And then when you do that, and if you follow the meditation stage by stage, you should be able to see the gradual progress of peace arising in your mind. And then once the body is comfortable, you just sit back and you just allow things to be, allow things to become peaceful, right? This is all you need to do. And then if that works, and only if it works, then you know you're in the right direction. If it doesn't work, if the body becomes a bit tense again, go back to the beginning. Relax, and then go through the same process. And then eventually you come to the stage where maybe it is right to take up a meditation object like the breath, like the metta, like a mantra or whatever it is. And the time you know that happens, and the time you know when it's the right time, is because the breath basically, almost like it appears by itself, and it's easy and natural to follow the breath. You don't put any force in there. You just allow it to happen all by itself. And all the time you're moving towards peace, moving towards ease, moving towards tranquility. Then you know you're doing it in the right way. So that's the big picture. Never forget the big picture. It's too easy to become too focused on particular techniques. But the techniques are only there to help you in the bigger picture of things. So let's just try and do some meditation together here. So just as always, start off by making sure you're nice and comfortable. This meditation is going to last about 45 minutes. So you've got to be quite comfortable to be able to sit still for 45 minutes. So just close your eyes and feel your body. Make sure you're feeling relaxed and at ease. And once you are reasonably relaxed, the first thing to look for is if you have any tension built up in the body. And of course, tensions, they often accumulate in places like the stomach and the shoulders, perhaps the face. But take a few deep breaths if you feel any tension anywhere. And by taking a deep breath, you are expanding the muscles and you are allowing yourself to relax. If you have any tensions or aches or muscular pains or whatever it is that are difficult to loosen up and allow to be, then send a few kind thoughts to that area and say, thank you, muscle, thank you, tension, thank you, body, for looking after me for all these years. Now it is my time to look after you. May you be well, may you be happy. And send some thoughts of gentleness and kindness to whatever area in your body that doesn't really relax, is not really at ease. And just keep on relaxing the body here. Keep on finding the ease in the body here until the body becomes completely irrelevant. It's as if the body doesn't really exist anymore here. When it's as if the body doesn't exist, then you know that you are ready for the next stage of meditation here. And as your body relaxes, you find that your mind relaxes as well. And just notice that correlation between body and mind. And just see how beautiful that is. Just that sense of relaxation in body and mind together. Just feel how nice and how good that feels. Just that much is already a great benefit. And as the body finds that ease, it starts to fade into the background, it starts to become irrelevant. And when that happens, the next thing to do is just to stand back and to be a passenger, somebody who just observes the process, somebody who is not directing anything. You're just watching, just allowing things to be, and watching the process unfold by itself. And as you do that, if it works, you gradually become more peaceful. And as you sit there, as things are happening in your mind, as you're sitting back and just watching what is happening, and sometimes you get caught up in a thought, for example, and when you get caught up in a thought, don't stop it, don't do anything, just allow the thought to end by itself. You just sit back and watch. If you get caught up, it's okay, there's nothing you need to do, just sit back. And then when the thoughts ends all by itself, then you're back to your peace again. And if you find, as you practice like this, that you are becoming peaceful, and you find that the breath becomes prominent in your perception, then very gently, very carefully, you can try just to rest the attention on that breath when it has already arisen in your perception. Just resting it on the breath, not placing it there, not using any kind of willpower, just a very gentle resting on the breath, and then allow it to unfold. And then the breath may disappear, it may come back again. Just allow this to happen by itself. And then gradually, when the meditation starts to work, you find that your ability to watch that breath starts to increase and improve. Okay, so does anybody have any questions or comments or anything? Yeah. Everybody happy? Yeah. Everybody okay? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. There. Okay. Sure. Please.
Using mantras. When you suggested about using mantras with the breath, what mantras can you suggest?
Oh, what kind of mantra you can use? Basically, mantras are very. A mantra is just a word that calms you down. So if you have, any word will basically calm you down if you repeat it and you feel peaceful. But it's even better if it is a word that has some kind of resonance with you. So whatever resonates with you, whatever you feel has a peaceful effect on your mind. Just saying peace, saying peace. The classical one that is often used in the sort of Thai forest tradition is Buddha. Because, if you have a lot of sense of confidence in the Buddha, in the Buddhist teachings, then just repeating Buddha, Buddha makes you feel very peaceful because of the confidence. Or just saying peace with each breath. Peace. Because it suggests something to the mind. And when you suggest something to the mind, the mind tends to move in the direction of that suggestion, right? So it can be anything that works. Anything which feels peaceful, that feels good, is okay to use. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Okay, well, this is not really a meditation question. I might answer this afterwards, but let me just have a look at this other one first. This is from Josh from the USA. I'm wondering how having an anxiety disorder might affect how you meditate. I have panic attacks. Sometimes I can settle my mind very well and feel great. Other times I feel like the anxiety is far too strong to try to reduce it through relaxation or willpower. Okay, so basically this is what I was kind of alluding to before, is that the mind is very different, right, from time to time. So you have to know your mind. You have to know kind of the right medicine for any particular time. So knowing oneself and knowing the state of one's own mind is actually very important. So if sometimes you feel good and you feel relaxed and at ease, you don't have any anxiety, then you do the meditation which works at that stage. If you feel a sense of anxiety and you find that it's too strong, you can't even relax properly, then you can do something completely different. You can do maybe walking meditation if you want, just walking back and forth, just maybe observing the anxiety. And a lot of people, when they have anxiety attacks, what they often do is, instead of involving themselves and trying to control the anxiety, they just learn to let go and sit back and watch without reacting. And this is one of the techniques that they use. And they say that if you are able to do that, then it actually starts to reduce the anxiety. Because a lot of the problem with the anxiety is the fact that we are trying to control it, trying to stop it. If you are able to just sit back and watch it, they say a lot of that anxiety tends to disappear. Often the controlling makes it worse. And also, if you can just sit back and watch the anxiety, you start to understand it better, right? You start to understand the kind of thinking patterns that gives rise to anxiety. And once you start to understand those thinking patterns, then it becomes possible to find an antidote, right? I don't know what it might be. Maybe it's fear, maybe it is whatever it is that causes anxiety. And you can start to learn to think in a different way. Does it make sense to fear in this situation? Perhaps I can look at this in a different way. Most of these things are just due to habits. So if you can change the habit patterns of the mind, then gradually you might be able to change that. So it's a good point. So know your mind, know what you can do at any one time, and then do what is appropriate for that particular time. Okay, so this is then another question. This is a little bit on the side of the issue of meditation practice. It's probably best to focus mostly on meditation in these sessions, but anyway, I'll try to see if I can answer this one anyway. In the recent situation in India, where a young woman was raped and thrown out of a bus and died, why would this happen? is this due to karma or perhaps something else? And it might be due to karma. It could be due to karma. This is one of the things that can happen as a result of karma. But it's not necessarily karma. It can also, this is pretty severe. This is a very kind of really stressful sort of really abused in a very, very serious way. When you end up dying from it and all these things, it's very serious. So I think this situation is likely to be karma. But just because somebody dies at the wrong time, they might die in a natural disaster or something, sometimes it isn't necessarily karma. Sometimes just life is like that. Sometimes it gets cut off too soon or at a very short point before what is average or normal, so to speak. So these things are not always due to karma, but sometimes they can be. Okay, I think that's probably enough on that question, because a little bit on the side of the issue today. So anything else anybody wants to say? Everybody happy? Okay, so please do as you see fit. Actually, let's bow to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha before we do as we see fit.